Welcome back to OMNIGARAGE. So what we are doing today is we're working on this Range Rover Velar. Now it's booked in for the work. So that's paint correction, ceramic coating, glass coating, wheel coating. What we thought we'd show you is just really quickly how we go about coating the glass on the car. So a couple of components that are really important for glass. The most important is just like your paint, preparation. So we need to make sure that the glass is in a condition ready to accept a coating. And what does that mean? Well, this car is relatively new. You can look at the glass here and actually see it is pretty clean. There's not a whole lot of water etching or scratches on the glass. Now, if we had scratches on the glass, good luck. There are products on the market like CarPro Seri Glass that claim that they can reduce some of those scratches, but the main thing that you're looking to do here is just to clean up the glass, give it a really deep clean. Sometimes that can involve removing some of the mineral deposits on there, so the water spots. We don't have a whole lot of those on here today. Maybe up in the corners here, we do have a few that are just hanging around. We'll be able to remove that really easily, and the way that we'll do that is by compounding. So what we'll do is we're gonna get our Rupes machine here. Now, the way that we do this, yes, you can use specific glass polish, and there are a lot of good options on the market, but we find when we're just trying to achieve a deep clean, any type of compound you have lying around, team it up with a foam pad. If you've got deeper etching, you might want to look at some microfiber or some wool, but we found on this vehicle here that it's been pretty good in terms of the results we've achieved by just using a compound. And you're not having to do too many passes, and you can absolutely mow down on the speed of the machine. So we'll just get into it, give this a clean up.
And this whole deep cleaning is basically just cleaning that glass and preparing it ready to accept the coating, and also so that we get the best performance out of the coating that we're going to put on the glass.
Yeah, correct, because if we go and try and put a coating on here, number one, the finish isn't going to be as perfect as it could be if we do this, and then number two, as Glenn said, the durability and the longevity of it is not going to be outstanding. Just point out here, if the only machine you have is a bigger one, like the Rupes LHR 15, you're really going to struggle, particularly in a car like a Range Rover, with this bit at the top. You're also not going to be able to cut it and potentially as close as you'd like to some of the edges. We're really lucky. We have the 5-inch, the 3-inch, and the Nano machine, so we're going to be able to get full coverage on this windscreen. If you don't have access to all of those, you can hand polish. So you can use polish on a microfiber, you could put polish on the pad, manually agitate some of these areas, so you don't need to have all three tools that you're going to see I was using today in order to clean this glass up.
You know you're running wild on some real deal South Korean microfiber towels. I'm talking about from the yarn to the barn, brother. 25% off V1 microfiber towels, 15% off V2 new and improved microfiber towels, dude. All month long, microfiber mania at the House of Rags, brother.
We got Mr. Twister, we got the Edge, we got the Freebird, we got the Diva. Get yourself some towels.
Ooh, yeah,
boy.
whole range of different products available to do this. The one that we're using at the moment, not necessarily saying this is the best, but this is the one that we are using on this vehicle, is CarPro G-Force. Now, really quickly, we purchased this product ourselves. However, OMNIGARAGE are affiliated with the House of Rags. The House of Rags do sell products from CarPro, and you can use our affiliate code OMNIGARAGE, which will save you some money off your order. So just in the nature of full disclosure, letting you guys know that, but we did buy this product retail here in New Zealand ourselves. So what we've done is we've just wiped the glass down. We've actually used CarPro Eraser, which is a intensive polish remover. So that's removing any kind of polishing residue, polishing oils from the surface. And then we've also followed up with a glass cleaner as well, just to make sure we've got a really deep clean. So this surface here is ready to accept our product here, which is the CarPro G-Force. Now, this is such an easy product to apply. What you're needing to do with it is use kind of any applicator pad. We find that we quite like just these microfiber applicators. I think these come in like the G-Technic coating boxes. What we will do is we will just apply the product using the inbuilt dropper here to the applicator pad, and we will load this up, especially because this pad hasn't been primed, so this is essentially our priming stage as well. Whole bunch of product on there, and it's a really forgiving product to work with as well. And what I mean by forgiving is you don't have to remove it very quickly, and we can work large areas of the glass. So typically what I do with this is I kind of just run a line down the middle, and then the way that we find we get the best coverage when applying a glass sealant is just working in small circular motions. And the reason we do that is I find that we just get better coverage than potentially going up, down, you know, in fashion like this. I feel like this works it into the pores of the glass just a little bit more efficiently. Now, unlike your paint coatings, you can probably be a little bit more disorganized when you're doing something like this. You can go around and coat the whole windscreen before needing to remove it. I think the sweet spot with CarPro G-Force we've found is about 10 minutes of cure time on the windscreen. If you leave it for any longer than that, it can be a little bit more difficult to remove, but we found that that is probably the sweet spot. And I think the thing as well is be generous on your product. You know, these CarPro bottles can be bought, I think you can get it in the 50ml, which is what we've got here, or 100ml. Obviously, the more you buy, the cheaper it gets per kind of mil basis. And then we just kind of continue in that same fashion, just making sure we've got even coverage all across the glass. Something you want to be mindful of here, when you're working in corners or you're getting to that area where it is closer to the roof, you probably want to be a bit more precise and run your product down like this, rather than going in circular motions and potentially getting it on the paint. And this is a layerable product as well. So when we actually go and do our first coat here, if we want superior performance, better longevity out of it, we can go and do a secondary coat of this product as well, which is going to obviously improve the behavior you get when it comes into contact with the water. Now, the recommendation for CarPro G-Force is to leave it between 1 to 3 minutes on the glass before you go ahead and remove it. And how do you choose between 1 to 3 minutes? Well, probably a lot of it is dependent on the environment you're working with. If it's really hot and humid, you may want to err on the side of caution and try and remove this after 1 minute. We're working in reasonable controlled temperatures here, so we have left it for about 3 minutes. And then it's really easy. 2 ways you can remove it. The recommendation is a dry microfiber, and you just buff away at this in order to remove it. The other thing that you could do is you could use a slightly dampened microfiber. We find that that works quite well. Use it with like a rinseless solution, or you could just use it in straight up water, and that helps you remove the excess off the surface. But in this instance, we'll follow the recommendation, which is dry microfiber. And again, you're probably just wanting to work in these circular fashions. And hopefully on camera there, you can see that we're removing all of the residual product off the surface. So second coat wise with this product, because it is layerable, the recommendation is 30 to 45 minutes. And I think that you do want to do 2 layers with this. You don't want to make any shortcuts, because you're wanting really good performance, particularly on the front windscreen of your car. Yeah, you could get away with a single coat on the side windows, but for the minimal amount of time this takes, 2 coats is the way that I would be doing this. Now, as you're removing it, you're just wanting to kind of keep an eye on making sure you're not spreading the product. Again, spreading across the windscreen is fine, but spreading it to adjacent panels is something you want to be careful of. You do not want to end up with a high spot from a glass coating on an adjacent painted panel of the car.
And then you want to let it cure for about 4 hours, and then you don't want to use the windscreen wipers for 24 hours. That's CarPro's recommendation.
It's a really, really easy product to apply. There are some glass sealants on the market that you can leave for, you know, a ridiculous amount of time on the windscreen. Angel Wax H2Go is one that kind of comes into mind. They recommend that you do remove it after a short period of time, but we've left it on there for 2 hours and had no problems removing. CarPro G-Force is another one where we have left it for too long, and too long is probably 10+ minutes. It gets really, really difficult to remove, so stay within the recommendation and remove this within that 1 to 3 minutes.